Hey friends, welcome back to Change Champions. Today we're tackling something that silently kills conversions before they even start, which is the moment your potential client thinks, is this for me? If that question is still floating around in their head, then you have already lost the sale. I'm Riley, this is Ped, and together we've spent over 30 years and $100,000 building our own coaching and consulting businesses. So we hope that this show helps build yours with less time and less stress.
Yeah, well, this is one of those topics where most people don't even realize what's happening. You're showing up, you're posting content, or you're at networking events. But if your target audience can't see themselves in what you're saying, they're either going to scroll right by, or they're going to be politely looking over your shoulder and saying something like, "Oh, I'm sure you've got other people to talk to." And so today, what we're going to do is unpack why being helpful or inspiring isn't enough and the exact filter clients are already using before they've even clicked on your profile or are curious about asking you, how can you help me? Plus, we're going to walk through the Big Five framework that's going to help sharpen your message so it lands with that laser sharp clarity. So, if you've been stuck wondering why great offers aren't converting, this one is for you.
Let's dive in. Cool. So the first thing we want to talk about is kind of the why great offers get ignored question. So let's talk about that for a moment. If someone finds your post, sales page, landing page, and they just bounce, there's actually a term for that. It's literally called bounce rate.
Yeah,
Website.
there is.
But websites aside, someone sees a post, you put it out on LinkedIn or your social platform of choice, and they just scroll by. Why is that, then?
Yeah. Well, look, it's not because they hate it. What I
Like
found is that
you.
they, that everything you stand by.
That could be one reason, but probably not.
Probably not. It's because it's not so obvious for them. And part of it is that your ideal clients are really looking for relevance. And an example of a message I got today that says, "Hi, Pedram, your most recent post really hit home." So thanks so much. It was awesome and prompted me to reach out. I would love to learn more about what you do. And they actually go and say transparently, they're not sure what they're looking for, but they see a lot of themselves in the way I describe how I work with clients as being experts in their craft, but not packaging it, which without even knowing how we can help them, this person found the relevance. They saw themselves in what we're writing and thought to reach out, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, there's so just to like reinterpret that little story there. It's so cool. That was literally this morning. Um,
Well, there.
they're hearing you speak to their pains, problems, situation, context. It's making it sound like you understand them, and by doing that, you're positioning yourself as someone who can help. They don't even know how you can help. They haven't like gone down the rabbit hole or asked ex clients like what kind of work we do, and like that's all down the road stuff, and it's not really what we're talking about here. We're just talking about how do they like click, read instead of scrolling and dismissing. And that's so that relevant, the word relevance actually packs in a lot of
Mm.
things, which we'll go into deeper. But maybe actually, if I can put a metaphor around this too for people that think kind of more visually, it's kind of like if you know you need to go clothes shopping and you go into a store, but like there aren't any sizes on the shirts you're looking for. It's like, how do you actually know or actually take it up a level? Imagine walking into a department store and at least in the US, you've got like men's clothes and women's clothes. And if you're looking for a dress as a woman, or I guess anyone, you're looking for a dress and you don't know where to look, my God, you would probably just not even go in the store. If you'd be like, oh, I have to search through every single, that'd be a nightmare. You would just walk by the store. You'd be like, and this doesn't say women's dresses or floral sundress. Like you don't know it has what you're looking for. So you just walk by.
Yeah. You don't want to it's making it hard for your audience to even pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so some of the things that I know that I've tried in the past, and maybe you have as well, listening to this, is you might have thought, you know what, I might need to niche down a little bit more. I might need to add some more services, or my favorite one, the whole rebranding thing. You go and think about, well, let me just change the way I position myself, and change the colors maybe, and rewrite your kind of about page and all those things, which we've talked about on other episodes. But it still feels a bit foggy.
Well, because it's that again, it's like the department store changing their name and their colors and their branding doesn't actually solve the problems. It's just it's like the same problem is there. And so usually we're it's almost like we're sweeping the problem under the rug, or we're unaware of the problem, as us as coaches trying to get our target audience to connect with us. And so then what we wind up doing is treating more surface level symptoms instead of the actual root cause. And so when we either replace or add those things in, what winds up happening is we're adding more like what we would call features instead of more actual value. And so the reality is, in an already noisy space where people are only giving you a few seconds, you're actually adding more noise, more distracting. And so, or not even distract, that would be catching your attention, right? It's the opposite. It's like there's just too many things. I don't even want to look at it. And it's just more confusing. And it's kind of like what's that copywriting phrase, Ted, we always talk about? Clear over
They're not clever.
clear over clever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarity always beats cleverness. And
Well,
so
look,
it's
I'm
just
going
you
to
gotta define
roll
it.
on your metaphor. It's like adding more clothes to the
Oh
packed
God.
clothes racks. It's just, I know what they need. They need polka dot dresses and summer shorts, as well
Yeah.
as I know all the other things that you think are going to add more value.
And you might have the perfect dress in the store, like for the buyer, right? But it just it's hard. So your actual offer might be fine, like the 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 name and the way the mannequin that's wearing the dress and the style, like all the things. I'm starting to stretch this metaphor too far, but the point is, like, it's not actually the offer that might be the issue. It's the fact that you are overcrowding it and putting too many things, and we're still missing the clarity on who is this for, and are you speaking to them using their language?
Yeah, right. And this really kind of brings us to the whole, how do we make sure that our offers and what we do is relevant? And it's really got to it's got to answer three questions. Is it for me? What do I get? And why does it matter? It needs all those three things answered. And we use a framework called the Big Five that helps us do this. And before we go into the Big Five, I was talking to a consultant the other day, really interesting guy, and I was asking him, what kind of consulting do you do? And he goes, oh, I do like tech stuff. And I go, what kind of tech stuff do you do? He goes, oh, cybersecurity. And I was like, okay, like what? And it took me a while to really uncover what this person did. I was like, okay, well, like who do you primarily serve? And he was like, well, I serve uh, founders who are going through scale up. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got the who it's for, right? And I go, okay, so what they get is cybersecurity, all well and good. But I was thinking to them, and maybe thinking about our own situation as well, because we are somewhat kind of safe with our passwords, but also maybe we're not fully taking advantage of or fully aware of why cybersecurity might be important for small businesses like ours. And so I really pushed him on that, and I was like, well, why does it matter? Why does cybersecurity matter? And honestly, he struggled to answer that. And I was thinking about how we think about relevance. Why something matters. It has to really be spelled out as a so what. Whether it's urgent or what's at stake or the things that really make people care. So for me, I was thinking, well, cybersecurity, you might be buying a piece of what might be the thing that they're actually purchasing, but really what they're buying is what we might be buying if we're in the market for that is like peace of mind or trust that investors, if you're a founder going through scale up and doing rounds of investment, that the investors are going to be happy with the due diligence that you've taken, or you just want to stay out of the headlines. You don't want to have reputational risk. And so really it is that, who is it for? What do they get? And why that's important. Those are the three things that any potential buyer is consciously or unconsciously thinking about. And I see you nodding your head. And before I kind of go into the big five, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Riley.
Yeah, it's just a lot of times, like those three questions, I think to the point you just made, if you can answer two of them, it might not be enough. And you might be really clear on one of them. I mean, I know exactly who my ideal dream client is. It's like, cool.
That's when you niche super down. Yeah, great.
Right. But what do they get? And why does it matter to them? And like, you might be able to say exactly what they get as well, but are you saying it in a way that makes sense to them? Do they know that they are your ideal client? Like, this person reached out to you this morning and was like, it seems like I'm the kind of person you work with. I don't know how you, like, tell me more, you know? And look, we're not perfect with it for ourselves in our own business, but just to highlight that you really need, it's kind of like boiling water. Like, you can get water to 200 degrees. This is Fahrenheit, 90 degrees Celsius. It's not going to boil. Like, you need you need to get to 212 Fahrenheit, 100 Celsius. Like, you have to get all the way there, or it's just you have to have the whole equation. So that's just actually to answer the question of why this
what is the equation?
Listening, right? Because you won't get the result without the complete picture. And so back to you, Pat. I'm wondering, maybe you
can unpack the big
five. Yeah.
So these are 5 essential elements that you need to just build clarity around what you do for your ideal client. So the first thing, no surprises, who is it for? So you need to know who they are. You need to express that. The second 2 pieces of the big 5 answer the question, what do they get? And it's a 2-parter. It's like, what problem you help them solve and what result you can promise. So once you solve that problem, what's that tangible result that they literally walk away with? And that's got to be really clear. And then the next 2 pieces, again, they go hand in hand. And this is to do with the so what. That's broad transformation that you're supporting them on. Like, where the problem that you solve helps them take a step towards this aspirational goal that they've got, and a step away from a negative situation that they might have. So those 2 pieces are the 4th and 5th part of the big 5. So avatar, problem you help them solve, result you help them get, negative situation they move away from, aspirational goal they move towards. Those pieces, just really, it's that full package of making sure that people know it's relevant for them and exactly what they're going to get when they work with you.
And one other kind of angle that I sometimes like to take our clients through to think about the big 5 is, I mean, avatar, pretty straightforward, um, which does not have to just be demographics, by the way. Like, probably maybe even more important is the psychographics. It's like the kind of person. Can you describe them? What's their mindset, their outlook, those kind of things. Buyer persona. But then when you talk about the problem or the obstacle and the result, the outcome that they're getting, I like to think of those as very logic driven things, where it's a very logical problem and very logical results that solving the problem gets you to. But then we can tap into the emotion by going to the 4th and 5th elements, which is that negative, that's the pain that the problem causes. So it exacerbates the problem, stretches that out, more of a gap in the buyer's mind. And then same thing on the other side of the aspiration. So the cybersecurity example, it's like, well, you will have more secure passwords. I'm not a cybersecurity guy, but to say that but what that will give you, mind, you will sleep better. Maybe you're raising a young family, and because of that, like, your family is going to be happier because you're going to, like, there's less stress. So the better sleep, you can wake up in the morning, you can take care of the kid before mom goes to work, or whatever this, like all the other things that are weighing on your mind, this just like takes some of those things off your plate. It's like, wow. Or the funding example, if you're a founder, it's like, what is the goal that they're trying to achieve? And can you tie it to that emotional objective? And so by doing that, you're stretching the gap,
Mm.
which positions, which is like an alley-oop, a softball for your offer, which probably out of scope for today's podcast and conversation, but hopefully that explains just a bit of the relevance of the big five and how it helps you become relevant in your messaging and your positioning for your target market.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of those things where you want people to ultimately be coming to any conversations with you almost like pre-sold that, or at least they feel like that you're in their head and you get them. And I know that you've already acknowledged this, right? Like we have a long way to go as well, and just like really like nailing that ourselves. So this is a much more repeatable thing for us. But we see the glimmers of that. We see these things happening more regularly as we refine our own big five and our own what people get and why it matters and how we've incorporated that in our own content and how we talk about things. And so it's, we're not making this up. We're saying like we're experiencing this. We want to share this framework with you so that you can do the same. And really like just thinking about if you're going to run your current offer through the big five filter, like how would you answer that?
Good reminder. Bring that up then. Yeah. And I mean, as an example, like we help coaches and consultants create more sales opportunities. That's probably the shortest, simplest way and I can, say our value proposition. But I mean, very clear who it's for, what they get, and then you can keep adding more by utilizing that big five. So
Yeah.
reflect on those things. And if you have wrestling with why your offer isn't landing, just remember that it is probably not just the offer. It's that your audience is still perhaps silently asking, is this for me?
Yeah. And once you shift from that and from hoping that they would figure it out on their own and instead show them what it's about, the changes, the clarity, what they get as a result of working with you, that's the shift that we're looking for here.
Yeah. So if this episode sparks something for you, our wonderful listeners, watchers, then the best compliment you can give is to share it with a friend or a fellow coach, because the world needs more coaching. But you can position yourself positively for your clients.
Absolutely.
That would be the dream.
Yeah, look, if you find this helpful, hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Join our newsletter if you haven't joined that either. This is where we share the behind the scenes stuff that we don't put anywhere else.
And everything that we talk about today ties back to what we help our clients do. So it's just turning your expertise into offers that people actually want to buy. On that note, we'll see you next time.
See you soon.